Oh.
So it must be something on the Mac, but I don't know what that could possibly be because I haven't changed any settings for Discord or anything on the Mac. So
is it only Ryan's Discord that's causing? Like, have you been able to?
I haven't tried anybody else's. I don't stream or watch anything else on Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me.
Because my guess is it's probably anything.
We're live now, by the way.
Oh, are we? Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, we are live. No, I don't know what setting I could have toggled, because it worked fine when I used it all semester for teaching, and it worked fine over the summer, and it worked fine until like 3 weeks ago. But I haven't done anything, so can't tell you.
That should help a tiny bit, and it did. Okay. We are playing Metroid Dread tonight, the brand new one. I'm really excited to show off this a little bit. The first thing I have to say is we are playing the emulated version, which weirdly runs better in every way than the official version you can buy. Though for the record, I do own a copy of this thing. All the art assets and sound assets for this game were made at a higher resolution than the Switch is designed to output, just because workflow in a modern game development environment is kind of a 4K thing now. So now we can just have all the assets at 4K. I am streaming at 720p for accessibility's sake, so we only see a little bit of those results on stream tonight, but it is there. Let's get going.
Also, we should, welcome our guest.
That's right. Yeah, we have Steve Reale with us tonight.
Woo!
One of kind of the big founders of the field in North America. Really, one of the folks who had this great idea. Is it 8 years ago now when Nacvigum started? Holy smokes.
2014 was the first one.
Yeah.
It's January of 2014.
Holy moly.
And
we, of course, get the classic Super Metroid theme here.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. This is the same thing that plays when the plot is being explained to you in Super Metroid. And it's really tough to release a new iteration of any giant franchise because you have so many expectations to live up to. But this is the first new two-dimensional Metroid game in 19 years. There's never been expectations like this one.
Well, having bought and played through Other M, I can say that my expectations were 50-50 on this one. But I have played through most of it. I'm currently at the final boss right now, and been going and picking up goods and stuff like that. So I haven't finished it yet, but I'm almost all the way through it.
Okay. I was mentioning to the others while you were getting a drink quick before we get really started here, I will not finish it in 2 hours. It's possible. There are folks who can do it, but we're not going to come close.
The game's only been out a couple weeks, so I wouldn't have expected you to learn all the tricks.
The other thing is that we can't finish it today because Jarrell Jones, Air-owned, who's a regular viewer of ours and a good personal friend of many of us here, has not yet finished it, and he's been streaming it for like 3 or 5 weeks now. Since the day it came out, he's been streaming it. So we can't finish it on this stream before he finishes his.
He's pretty close, though. I think I saw that he was...
He is also... He's right where Steve is. He has access to the final boss, but he wants 100% completion before he goes and does it.
Which is really tough. I probably have 3 main criticisms of the game, and one of them has to do with the speed boost shine spark puzzles at the end, which are incredibly obscure. And there's one that's so hard that I generally speaking, when I play a game, I don't like to look online for answers. Like, I want all of my experience to be within the frame of the game. Sure. And from time to time, I break that. But I went to look this one up, the solution to this puzzle, and I've watched them do it on YouTube, and I still don't know what they're doing. I still don't know how the solution to this puzzle works. So I have to say I'm not 100% in love with the shine spark puzzles. But that's of maybe one of 3 complaints I have with the game, so that's pretty good.
I mean, there's kind of a tradition of complicated shine spark puzzles at the end of this.
I know that.
Right?
I know, but this one in particular is pretty crazy.
I have not yet solved them all, so I'll look forward to seeing that. I think the boss
Well-
fights are just a touch too difficult for a modern mass market audience.
So they are tough, but they are super fair. And like my experience of going into these boss fights is basically the same for everyone. I walk in and I get my butt kicked really fast. And then I'm trying to brute force it and shoot missiles, shoot beams. It doesn't matter. Okay, fine. I'll learn the encounter. It takes like maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 tries, but by the end of it, these encounters are such that you can do them without taking a single hit once you figure out what the patterns are. So like these really aren't damage soaks. These are master the mechanics, and the game will submit to you. But they are tough fights. Once you figure them out, they fall into place pretty nicely.
It definitely rewards expertise that is practiced, as opposed to you've got good generic video game skills and you're good at improvising. If you come to it with that attitude, true. I'm good at games, I'll be fine, you're going to be eaten alive by a few of these.
Well, but maybe it actually requires a little bit of both, because you're not going to get that on the first pass. But I think it probably does require a certain amount of generic game expertise to figure out how you're going to solve the puzzle and then execute it.
Also, hi, 8-Bit Arya.
Apparently, we're getting Taco Bell ads before our streams now. We've brought it up too many times. We brought up tacos and.
For the record, we have no control over what ads run on the stream. We never. And I'm the one who steers those controls. I never manually trigger an ad on the stream, right? You get them at the beginning if you don't subscribe, occasionally.
Ooh,
Steve,
this is like
have you...
Princess Leia in Jedi when she goes to rescue Han voice. You know, she's got that vocoder
the computer's
thing.
voice is vocoded like that, yes. Steve, have you initiated the final boss fight once?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I was not able to one-shot it.
Okay, I'm going to invite you to not reveal the plot of that last penultimate conversation.
Of course. No,
okay.
Of course I won't. I won't do such a thing.
Now, I've not read the manga that was released alongside Super Metroid, from which a lot of the story material for the subsequent games is drawn. I think this is the first time we have seen a living Chozo in the game.
It seems like it to me. Yeah, because generally the Chozo are this ancient race, and I always had the sense that they were kind of a benevolent race throughout the all of the games that I've played, that they've had these special things, and that there was some relationship that Samus had to them. Maybe she was an ancestor, but like their presence was generally a benevolent one for her, and so that changes very much right here.
Yeah, Samus is canonically rescued by the Chozo, and I'm like 90% sure from Ridley and the Space Pirates as a child. I like this view through her visor as an homage to Metroid Prime, by the way. Even though this is a 2D game, we'll never really see that again. There are a couple moments that remind us that this game is rendered in full 3D, and it's tremendous.
How hard it is to not see the wave beam with all of the... Like, to go back to basics here.
Filling it all up. I will say that what Super Metroid had over this one is that you get on the planet and there's like nothing there for a bit, and how terrifying that is. Here there's like little creatures right at the beginning, and you know, like any other platformer, you're like, okay, cool, shoot these things.
And I don't particularly care for this long tutorial conversation either. Hi, Busta Tunes.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome.
I have not heard you say that, because I only caught you at the very end of Jarrell's last stream. You like this soundtrack the best of Nintendo's recent work, huh?
I have reviewed your vital signs and video log from the data you uploaded. I've run a full analysis, but I cannot account for
Essentially
why
Vagrant
lost
Story with less
causes
reverb.
readers indicate dramatic physical changes in you. Whatever caused these changes seems to have
But
stripped
reverb
most
sounds
abilities.
nostalgic
You might call it
or
physical
something.
amnesia.
Makes us think about interiority and memories.
I like that we have a lot of ambience in this space, for what it's worth. I tell my students that these types of tracks that are void of melody or any really discernible thing, but you have to create an environment somehow, are among the harder tracks to do, right? Music composition teaches you how to write the overture pretty well. Creating the ambient space overlaps with sound design significantly, and at least those of us who are coming to us for academy-style training don't get that piece of the puzzle quite as readily. It takes more work from those of us who come from a more traditional composition world.
That brings me
And
to
how
your
many
assailant.
folks, when
I am
they
from
ask
the
in like the
Federation
Game Audio
of
Denizens
Games
group on
against
Facebook, like,
Forbidden
how do I
Knowledge.
break into video game composition?
A chosen
The number one
determined
response
that
is
you are
always get
somewhere
really
within the
good at
depths
sound
of
design
GPR.
first.
Your top
Yeah.
priority should be
Yeah.
to return to your ship on the surface. This situation is precarious.
Yeah, I was listening back through a few different Metroids
This planet
today,
is
and I was
consistent
struck by
with
how
areas.
musically unmemorable a lot of them are, but just how atmospherically perfect they are.
Keep the ship's location is marked
I
on
love
your global map.
that Busta
Check
Tunes
it
is
for
like,
yourself.
yup, not even those, as if I'm about to like talk back with his opinion of 5 soundtracks.
There are many such
Which I admit I had a
cold
fleeting
underground.
moment of, so I'm glad you cut that off, actually.
Power suit.
I like Andrew's description of talking into an oscillating desk fan.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
On the other
the
hand,
Billie
just to
Eilish bad
respond
guy
to what-
vibe, right? I'm the bad guy.
Just responding to what you were saying, Dana, though, on the other hand, there are some really great memorable tunes in the Metroid canon as well. I was prepping for this, not just by playing Dread, but also I fired up Prime again yesterday and was playing through some of that, and was so pleased to hear that the world right outside your ship is a riff on the very first original Brinstar theme from the first Metroid.
In
and that's
Prime,
such a
yes.
tuneful. In Prime,
It's
yes.
such a heroic, wonderful theme. Yeah, original Metroid was very tuneful. Super Metroid goes a lot more atmospheric, and I think it's really striking for the era. So it
There's
still
still a lot
has
of
some
great
really,
tunes in,
really good moments.
Yeah, like the water world. I can't remember the name of it, but it's such a sad and haunting
Viridia.
melody. Viridia, yeah.
I
Yes,
have
yes.
a multi-track I'm working on of probably both Meridia themes. I think I'm gonna push them together, but yeah, it's kind of like a haunted lullaby vibe.
Yeah.
This encounter is
And the-
skippable, by the way, I know, but for the sake of introducing the game's atmosphere, I don't think you should, unless you're going for a pure speedrun. This initial encounter is important for me, at least narratively.
Pretty sure we
yeah.
banned speedruns after Link to the Past, Brian. that stream was such a mess. It was like, okay, so this theme, oh, we're done.
What a different encounter this is when you know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, for sure. Though I feel like the game tells you pretty powerfully that you can't win that encounter without coming to this room.
Well, sure, after you die once or twice.
I actually thought this gun was very difficult to use. I died onto this robot right here. Right here. My favorite thing about it, however, is that it takes the one good idea from Other M, which is that 2D and 3D spaces can coexist in the same engine, and brings that back here.
And I really do appreciate the tutorial every single time you pick up the Omega Cannon, because it could be, 30 minutes to an hour, a couple of hours between encounters here, and like getting that opportunity to remember the keystrokes before you actually have to face the Emmy is really, really nice.
I agree.
And then, like, later when you have to do the charging one, right, to get rid of the faceplate, and then you have to just do the same thing to get out of the room, it's really nice to have that. Okay, what am I doing? Right, okay, this is how this thing works. I'm good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to save at most of the save points. I'm always going to be greedy, and then I'm going to regret it the instant I don't, so.
It's pretty generous, too, though, with boss fights. It'll start you up outside the room.
Yeah. I definitely think there's an X-Files influence, by the way. I'm reading the chat here. To the soundscape.
X-Files, and I think for a lot of these games you can even go back into earlier sci-fi and, you know, radiophonic workshop-y electronic sound. And
I love the use of the film grain filter here in the kind of scary security zones.
Yeah, it makes you really aware that you're being watched, right? That was always something that kind of freaked me out about these games, this notion that she's just alone and everything is hostile on this planet. I played Super Metroid way too young, I think. I still have issues with that game in particular, not even the other Metroids.
So, Steve, you mentioned on Twitter that these encounters are far less scary without the music and the sound.
And I'm talking not necessarily this. Well, no, I guess this is that same music, but when you have the Omega Cannon and you're needing to then actually be hunted by the thing, I guess it's the same music, isn't it?
It is the same music, yeah.
So especially later, I mean, I didn't notice this right away, but I certainly noticed it later that the game has a very specific place that it wants you to be fighting these things. Okay, there you go. And so, you know, you have to find that one correct stretch of terrain where you're going to have enough time to take care of its faceplate and so on and so forth. And it's just going to pat around a very set path. And so that music, which is really, really frenetic, it amps you up. And even as, like, you know, I feel like I should know better and shouldn't be fooled by such a thing. But no, I was taken in hook, line, and sinker with it. And when after you do it enough times and you're trying to practice a level, you don't get distracted by the music anymore. You start to notice the pathing, and then you just tune that music out entirely. You're like, you know, the Emmy isn't even really moving that fast. It's moving on a very predictable course. It's all setting you up for to attack it. So that music is working overtime in terms of the effect that it has on the player. And definitely was stressing me out to hear it. You know, like, oh my god, the thing's coming after me.
The one tense thing for me is that while you're in there without the Omega Cannon, and it's a one-shot, right? I have to find it again in every Emmy zone. This line, that's why I've paused here on the dialogue, is crucial to making the horror function. You can't escape if it's chasing you. The Assassin's Creed model for Karen, right? Like, you have to find a safe hiding spot, and only then can you disengage formally. In the 2D space, that's terrifying.
Their control system must permit them to operate only within.
But you were, I was actually surprised right there. You actually did disengage from it. It should have been. It seems like it should have been able to see you, but it didn't. Was it not able to get through that gap? Yeah.
It cannot get through that gap. The first one can't. Future Emmy bots would have been able to slide through there and get you.
Right.
Your highest priority in an Emmy.
This first one is, well, the second one now, right? Continues to be something of a tutorial experience.
What is your success rate on countering the Emmys, Ryan?
Oh, maybe 5%. If I get caught, it's over.
I think I've done it twice, perhaps, maybe 3 times.
And I'm a Street Fighter player. I brag to my students that I'm good at those games. And it's tough. That counter is not designed, hold on, to be survivable.
Right. And you know what normally ends up happening is, like, even when I actually do successfully counter him, I'm already so stressed out by the whole thing and assuming that I'm dead. Like, I counter him, he's stunned for a second, and then I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? Where am I going? And then he wakes up and then he kills me right away.
Yeah. So I was supposed to turn somewhere else, I think, but we'll figure that out. No, this might be right.
Anybody have any fun autumnal drinks tonight?
Oh, just a Sam Adams for me today.
Got my Manhattan
Nice.
with Aztec chocolate bitters.
Good choice. I am
It's a beautiful
drinking
thing.
a fig bourbon cider smash, which is a half-baked harvest recipe. I'm obsessed with her blog. It is apple cider, orange zest and juice, fig preserves, bourbon, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and then topped up with sparkling water. And it is
Lord.
all kinds of good things.
It sounds like it. That sounds amazing.
I like
Yeah, I
that
was
the
intrigued by
fluid
the idea of
mechanics
stirring
here.
jam into a drink.
I love that they shift. So me hitting that little blast in the 2 rooms to the right lowered the water here. That's a new type of puzzle for the Metroid franchise. Normally everything is self-contained to a room. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, the rooms are really interesting, the geometries of them, the way that they connect. Sometimes
Yeah.
you'll see another pathway above you or below you, but you can't get to it unless you go into the next room and take a different doorway.
I think
And
that's
a lot
why.
of the secrets are that way too.
Like, I haven't played this yet, as we know, but so much of the sound design, the level design, the room design, and even the color palette just reminds me so much of the Swapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, like a lot of that ambient noise, the mechanical stuff in the background, you know what I mean? And the reds, the blues, the grays, and the blacks are the Swapper. It's really, it's kind of startling me how many similarities I'm seeing as you play.
That's a really great connection.
It
As
is.
soon as you said it, I was remembering our streams of it.
Oh,
Yeah. But it's like, especially in the Swapper, like how we're here, right? How sometimes it'll fuzz out, like Ryan, you were talking about the film filter,
yeah.
and the Swapper does that in places. It has those momentary pauses with the narration and the dialogue and the written text. I don't know, it's very, very similar.
Oh, that little skittering sound.
Oh, I know.
I messed up, everybody.
Swapper was
Well,
the-
you're
that's
fired.
the original alien. You can't fire Ryan. None of us have all of the tech to make this happen.
It's true. You're rehired.
Ryan, are you going to
Like my stream with
sequence
my
break
free
so that
OBS.
you use the bombs on Kraid?
I know it's possible. I haven't actually looked up what you need to do to make that happen yet.
It's pretty great that they built that into it, the ability to... They actually built in a mechanic if you have sequence break and have the bombs for Kraid.
Hey, Pete.
Well, a wild Florida man appears. You're so lucky.
I really do like the idea of that as a sequence break, especially because it is Kraid that is quick killable in Super Metroid. Like, there's a specific glitch in that one. So it feels very much a reference to the Super Metroid speedrunning community that it's possible to speed kill that same boss here.
Sure.
Where's the trill in the weapon acquisition theme? Come on. I loved the little Baroque flourish at the end in the original.
I love the little atonal tune in the rooms that are
Oh, yeah.
that you go into. Boom, 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 boom.
And I didn't check and see if that remixed here or not.
No, I don't think so.
That's unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Pete.
Yeah, because even though those rooms are generally pretty safe and you're getting something new, and that track is meant to just, I think it's called Silence in one of the originals, like, it still is a very tense track because it is so directionless. I love that it just keeps that anxiety at a simmer. You are only temporarily safe.
What is it, the burbles that happen in that room? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Actually, I was texting Will, and I mentioned that you were going to join us tonight, and I said we were playing the new Metroid, and he said, keep me apprised of any burbles in this game.
Nice.
So we have to be on burble alert, everyone.
Well, that skittering is pretty close.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh yeah, first R movie. That's always a fun conversation to see what folks saw way too young.
Guys,
Possibly.
I've been playing this game for a week now, and I haven't noticed it, but this little tune that's going on right now with the pings, bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum. I'm wondering if this is a reference to the original opening title screen from the original Metroid. Bum, 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 bum.
Maybe. That'd be smart. Hadn't thought about it that way.
It's not really the same. It's not the same set of pitches, but there's like that gesture is in there.
Yeah, hold on. I need to
Jam's
go
here.
the other way. Oh, right, I have to go
It's
to
so
the
hard to
right
watch you not have the screw attack of the space jump.
first. Right. I agree.
Hi, John Michael. Welcome.
Hi.
John Michael's doing a final project on this game.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about that, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Will has to send me his chapter though, because I do not own that Palgrave volume that it's in. I don't know
Yeah,
if
you
I
need to remind me. I keep meaning you have to remind me because I feel like I've got it on my other external. But
Well, and
it
I really thought I had it, and then I looked back through my email, and he had sent me multiple drafts.
Yeah.
And, asked for my thoughts, so I didn't have the complete one. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to send out an incomplete version. So
I'm in the process of continuing the massive file backup that I've been trying to do for like 3 years, but now I'm at the point where some of my hard drives only work on certain computers, which makes it very hard to access anything that I actually need at a given moment.
well, that's fun.
It truly is. So yeah, right now the only thing that all of my hard drives work on is my 2009 Mac laptop, which is also very slow and can only run iTunes. So it's not very great for transferring massive amounts of files.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch some of my former external hard drive backups to our network storage, and it's taking forever because the little hard drives just don't have great running speed.
Yeah.
Uploading data.
I probably don't have to
Anyway,
save
remind
here,
me
but
though,
I'm
and I'll
going
look
to.
tomorrow.
There's no record you have content for. There are.
Yeah, we already know that's going to be on the bibliography, so hopefully we can just get it in the next few days.
Having to turn on the thermal doors, by the way, these reminds me of Fusion's locks, but a more elegant narrative explanation for why they exist.
Well, which system was Fusion on? Was that on the Game Boy?
Game Boy Advance. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
It's-
I'm trying to remember. Is that the one that we did with Super Metroid, or was that Zero?
We did
What
Zero
did we-
Mission
what did we
with
do?
Super Metroid.
Zero Mission. Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember which one we paired. Was it?
So, hey, a small sequence break for you right there, Steve. Did you see it?
Where you went through the the doorway that you gotta later use the grappling hook for?
Yes, because I bounced
Not
off
the
of
doorway,
that thing as it was turning. You only get one shot at that. I'm pretty pleased I made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the percussion in this boss thing really reminds me of the section in Bjork's Crystalline where the drums just start going.
And I also love the reference to the original Metroid in this room, where you've got the rings and the guns shooting at you, like they did in the other game.
Yes. It feels like a Metroid 1 thing, somehow.
That eye's a little too realistic. Please don't do anything weird to the eye. Like, it was fine when it was just kind of like a robot eye, and then she gets close to it and it looks real. Like, no thanks.
I don't know. Some of the visuals don't. Some of the visuals are a lot more realistic than others. But there's a weird kind of like, I don't know the right word, like a cartoonish overlay or something.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a little jarring.
So here's that tune that is so frenetic until you stop listening to it, and then you end up realizing it doesn't do anything. The encounter's a lot slower paced than you would think.
Yeah, I muted the Discord just to get a sense of it.
Sorry for not letting it linger. You have to be either quick or dead.
Right.
There.
It's fine.
There's no opportunity for an in-between here.
So I was reading, there's a Washington Post story on this game that I just happened to read earlier today. The guy did a review of it, and then he wrote like a follow-up that was trying to help newbies understand this game. And he's talking about the basic gameplay loop of Metroid being unusual in that the basic loop is the entire game. And that you play the game to learn the game, and then you go back and you play it faster and faster and faster. And so ultimately, you know, there's a little bit of ludonarrative dissonance in this particular game where the encounters are so difficult and they kill you a dozen or 24 times before you actually can succeed in them. And then you're also supposed to be this great bounty hunter with great, you know, abilities and all the other things. Why are you dying so much? And then if you are dying, how are you like continuing on and everything? And you know, that's typical game stuff. But
yeah,
the idea here is that when you go through the loop and you play the game, and then you play it a second time, and then you play it a third time, and you really start to master the game and anticipate the game, that's really the Samus the Bounty Hunter, right? That's like the becoming of the Bounty Hunter. I thought that was a really interesting observation they made.
Yeah,
So
you have
even
to like
the first
train
time you
yourself
finish
to be
it,
the bounty hunter.
It's not a complete experience, right? You're meant to just eventually be amazing, the way Samus is
Right.
described by the narrative.
Yeah, and for that
I like
matter,
that.
like you're doing right now, Ryan. I mean, you probably were not this fast your first playthrough, right? You probably weren't this competent your first playthrough. So,
No, I was not. Definitely not.
Yeah, Ryan's had some pretty epic gaming moments on this channel.
This boss
Like,
particular,
yeah.
I died, I'll bet 6 or 7 times, Steve, and I never figured out the real... I'm going to demonstrate it here because I think it's awesome. I never figured out how all of the mechanics and the rules line up to work in tandem with one another. This is an amazing boss fight. But it took me a long time to figure it out.
by the way, everybody say hi to the new kitten.
Aww. What's the kitten's name?
Forrest.
Forrest?
Porco.
Oh, sweet.
He showed up under the house about a month ago.
Aw.
Nice.
Tiny and
Right.
pathetic.
That's amazing.
And Sasha is so in love with him. Like the two of them have become such good buddies, and I'm like, well, you know, they'll be able to grow up together. They'll be able to play together, and it'll be really, really sweet. I wasn't gonna take on the third cat, but I'm gonna do.
But the cat took on you.
Yeah, and he is a super nice little kid.
Here's what I'm talking about. Watch this. It's gonna face its rear end towards me now. When it goes visible again.
Can you slide under his legs? Is that what it was?
You
I
can
feel like
slide
that's what it
under
was.
him,
Yeah.
which I did figure out the second time.
Right.
But more importantly, you can counter right there, and you get an interactive cutscene where I'm actually firing now.
Right.
And you get bonus time to damage the thing.
That happens. That same kind of thing happens in another sequence later on, where one of the bosses. It's the same thing. A quick time encounter that you get to actually fire the weapon.
What an interesting boss design, too.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not just mechanically, just visually.
Yeah.
Samus, what are you doing over there? You were just hanging off the wall. Continuity.
Phantom Glow.
Here's another
You're
moment
gonna
of
get some
kind of
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
ludonarrative dissonance. This is the second Metroid game made by Mercury Steam. The first one was Samus Returns for the 3DS. And they introduced the idea of these Aeon powers that are kind of additional powers that they needed for the gameplay to work. They're much better here. I have no complaints gameplay-wise. But why does Samus have a certain power in Metroid 2? She loses it for the entire Prime trilogy. It's not in Super Metroid or Fusion, and now it's back here. Well, the answer is only because Mercury Steam made these two games, right? Otherwise, you have to... There's no in-game explanation for the Aeon powers coming in. Alright.
I am just hearing the Phantom of the Opera, like, in my head. Phantom Cloak. Bum, 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 bum.
I think any story thing that one could possibly quibble with is going to be overshadowed by Other M.
Oh, I mean, like, that's a minor quibble compared to how terrible Other M is, like, in its entirety, story-wise?
To the existence of Other M. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with
I mean,
that.
I actually, like, the gameplay was... I did like the gameplay in it, and you were saying that this did what that one didn't do, which was to successfully blend the 2D and 3D. I actually did like the way Other M handled that, but the story was just horrendous. Man.
Yeah, the story was hot trash for Other M. I also really liked the gameplay of that one.
So Joe should play it, and not me.
Even Joe will hate the story there.
Oh, he doesn't care about story most of the time. He's a hardcore ludologist. This is what keeps the marriage spicy.
In summary, without getting into the weeds of the worst Metroid game, and even with the gameplay that I like, it's the worst one. You can't take the only prominent female character Nintendo has and make her specifically subservient to a man the entire time, to the point where she has to get his permission to use any of the weapons in the game. The whole narrative is about her getting permission to activate the stuff she already has. There's no new powers.
And so it's the same gameplay trope, right? Where you start with nothing and you get more and more power as the game goes on.
As the man tells you can. Right.
As the man tells you can. And there's even one sequence in that game where you're running through lava, burning up, taking damage, because he hasn't let you use the Various suit yet. You have to wait for the man to tell you that you have permission to
turn on
to
your heat
use a
resistance in the lava zone.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really absurd.
That is absurd.
And unlike Super Metroid, where like you can skip the Various suit if you're an ace, this is required of you in Other M to do this hell run through the heat zone, because you don't have permission
skip the
to turn
Various
on your
suit in
armor.
Other M in Super Metroid.
Yeah, you can. You need 6 energy tanks and to be very fast.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that like a speedrunner thing?
most speedrunners will get the Various suit because it halves the damage from Mother Brain's Final Blast.
And since they're cutting corners elsewhere.
Right.
I see. Yeah, the strategy behind speedrunning is interesting to me. I don't have the patience to try it or to practice. But I like watching Summoning Salt videos where he explains all of that for me. And then I can just like watch, Awesome Games Done Quick or the Summer. I can never remember what the acronyms are. Watch the speedrunning. We usually turn it on. I appreciate the art form, but I'm definitely not somebody that ever wants to play games like that. I'm a very slow gamer.
Meant to hit that. There we go. Oh, nope, wrong way. Also the wrong way. Oh, right.
I'm almost done with Spiritfarer.
I definitely had to look this one up, Brian. I'm like, I feel like they're funneling me into this world, but there's nowhere to go.
There's somewhere, I just forget where it is that I can go.
It's back in the main room. It's back where the elevator is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this little theme. The kind of marching bass line, very drudgy.
I like it that it's not Ridley's theme again, which would have been very tempting here.
Ridley's not in this game, huh?
No, he is not, but Ridley's music tends to show up as the Flame theme anyway in a lot of titles.
You would think that if Kraid's going to be in the game, Ridley would be too, but no.
Maybe Ridley's on holiday with his family somewhere.
Uploading data.
He had a scheduling conflict.
I have located the set.
That has to be it.
That's right, for sure.
Somewhere there is one other thing to discuss.
He zoomed in.
Prevents the alert that using the phantom cloak
I like the
security
vibration of the computer talking. It reminds me of Tron, the original movie.
result in capture. It is up to you whether to hold your position. Just be aware of your surroundings. The phantom
Shadley.
cloak is useless. The phantom.
Oh, Shadley.
I also like... let me turn it on very quickly while I don't have any other ability to worry about. You see the yellow bar on the top left here that is your Phantom Cloak energy? If that runs out, you can keep the cloak on, but it'll start draining your health.
Oh.
If you would rather avoid
Sneaky.
the Emmy, then you can trade health for time. And it is a fast trade. It maybe buys you an extra 4 seconds.
This is very, like, death marchy with that bass line.
Yeah, it is. Oh, right, more thermal things. That's what we need.
Plug.
I was just going to say that. It's really lucky that Samus's gun is interfaces with all of these.
Well, she probably installed, like, a galactic standard or, like, outlet size.
Right, a USB 4 plug built
Right.
into Samus's arm.
Or she just jams it in so forcefully it somehow works.
You just gotta kick it.
Take out the cartridge and blow on it. I heard a badum. Is that a Julianne? It is a Julianne.
Yeah.
Let's,
The Discord noise is what alerted me.
Doink.
nice. Hold on 1 second.
Wild. Julianne.
Oh, she's not yet on Skype. She's only on Discord.
She's in Discord, yeah.
Lurking.
Okay. In theory, she should auto pop up once she joins the Skype call, but we'll see.
She's on Twitch.
Switch in. See a hokey time. There's a Julianne.
There she is.
Hi,
Looking
Julianne.
cozy.
Hi.
I love the
Steve.
contrast between the cozy blanket and the Emmy battle going on in the background.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
See,
Sorry,
you chose
I'm late.
cozy. I chose what Twitter told me to wear, which is my Super Metroid shirt.
But that's pretty good and relevant.
I haven't gotten to wear it in a few years. We haven't streamed a Metroid game in a minute.
It's true.
Well, there
Ever?
hasn't been one, right?
Yeah, we did one.
Yeah, we did Super and Zero.
Yeah.
All right, this is the first one I think is legitimately terrifying and tough.
Uh-huh.
This looks cool.
This one can get through the gaps, yeah.
Yeah, it can.
So these creepy bots follow you around, Julianne.
They
And
one-shot
they
you.
do that. They skitter around.
Nice.
Yeah, they just straight up will
Scary.
one-shot you.
It's not
They're
terrifying
not
at all.
pleasant.
And cautious.
Is there music that I can't hear? That's weird.
You-
Do you not hear it? Wait, has it gone to you? Are you having the issue?
I hear weird sounds, but I don't hear music.
It's mostly ambient, yeah.
It's ambient.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like little.
Oh, shit,
There's
shit.
beeps and like a high-pitched static sound. Okay. Indeed. Hello.
Like kind of sonar.
Yeah,
Right.
the robots operate off of sonar, and they have very good sonar.
Oh, okay. So that's diegetic-y. I guess you could argue pretty much everything in this game could be read as diegetic, right?
I don't think the musical theme here, the melody here, it's hard to read that.
I don't hear any music, and maybe that's like a weird question, like an ontological question about music.
Julian,
but
do you
more
hear
of
the
a-
gun?
No, I do not.
Okay, you're not
You
hearing
don't
the
hear
sound.
anything?
I hear
Check your
some
Discord
stuff.
sound settings.
Wait, I hear something now. That's weird. I heard a gun after you said. Okay, here, pew pew pew. That seems gun-like. But also
Wait, it's actually
very,
back the other way. I
very
have to use
high-pitched.
that.
Oh boy.
Use
Okay,
the
I hear
thermal
more
thing that
sound
I
now.
just did.
Alright.
I
You're not
did
hearing it
nothing
through
and I
Twitch, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I like how the thermal pathway is the only thing that's really in color.
Yes.
That sound.
Ah,
Almost like it's a thermal camera situation going on, but like not really, but kind of.
Well, there's a couple moments that have happened where it goes to like a film grainy, like you're under surveillance camera footage.
Right.
because that closes. Oh, unless I Phantom Cloak. Pete, the only Metroid game I think it's too late to start is the first one is not inviting at all. All the others are very reasonable by modern design standards.
I would certainly recommend Super Metroid to anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
This looks really fun.
Man, y'all are reminding me of like memes from the stream that could be our next emotes. I could do a low flute.
Oh yeah,
Probably
Loaf
flute.
I'll do like a little loaf of bread and then a plus sign and then a little lute.
Pete, really because Super Metroid functions as a remake of the first one in all of the important ways, I would argue. And Metroid 2, unless you're playing the fan-made remake, AM2R, is wildly different from the rest in tone and flow.
Ew! Okay, stop, everyone. Goodbye. Good night.
You guys are never gonna let him live that down.
I wasn't even there, and I find so much joy in it.
It sparks joy, Ryan. It
Sparks
sparks
a
joy.
lot of joy. Marie Kondo says we get to keep it.
I see. Is that what that means? Where am I headed?
Marie
right
Koji
now?
Kondo.
Yeah, Marie Koji Kondo.
Marie Koji Kondo.
I was probably supposed to
Our
go
Lord
to
and
that
Savior.
door, right? I don't know anything. Where's the Emmy anyway? Oh.
Yeah, it's right. This is coming right for you.
I will have feels about rope forever. Oh, stop.
Yeah, this is where I was supposed to go.
Oh.
And now this needs to be powered
Can't
on
wait till we can
first.
hang out again
I
in
think you have to
person
power it on
and create
in-
more
yeah.
of these awkward memories.
True.
We're gonna bring all of our awesome board games into our games and definitely play more of
Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh no!
Oh god.
So now we watch Ryan die.
Die.
Yummy.
I didn't realize it like spiked you in the chest.
I didn't know it could
Oh,
break
yeah,
the blocks. God damn it.
Yeah. So here's my second complaint about the game. It's 2021. These loading screens are way too long.
Yeah.
They have to do that because it has to load this area outside the Emmy zone. I'm comfortable with that.
But don't we have more power? More power.
Not on the Switch, we don't. Are you kidding me?
Oh, are we on the Switch? I had no idea. I didn't know anything about this game. Aww.
Julian, we're actually playing the Swapper. This isn't Metroid at all.
Like, Swapper. It looks like it though.
That's what. Yeah, we had this whole conversation about how much
Like,
this is
out of the
reminding
corner
people,
of my eye.
meaning me, of the Swapper.
And if I blur it, yeah, it's like it's definitely Swapper. But
It's
that
very,
high
very
pitch,
Swapper.
man. Me
I
and Dr.
can't help you
John,
with the high pitch, though. I think
it's
you're on
very
there.
persistent, and I don't know if that's like we can both hear it. So it's not just me on Skype Discord. It's also Dr. Yam in the wild. So I'm really wondering about it.
I'm not picking up any sort of persistent high
Really?
thing. No.
So, cause it sort of makes me almost glad I'm a little late because I don't know if I could handle it for a full 2 hours.
I'm not getting that at all. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. No, I'm not hearing it either.
Ooh, it's louder now. That's okay. I don't know if that came through to anybody else. Okay, it's softer now. A little bit louder now.
I will say, by the way, Julian, you're seeing this in slightly higher definition than you would on the Switch because I have pirated it.
Oh, okay.
And it runs in high resolution if you emulate it.
Alright. That seems wrong.
Yeah, it's better if you pirate it than if you pay.
That's not good.
No, that's suboptimal for obvious reasons.
So we lost Steve.
Wait, what?
Where did Steve go?
Still in
Oh
Discord,
yeah,
though.
Steve's frozen.
Yeah, he left Skype. So Ryan, just drawing that to your attention.
He froze in like a good way, unlike when I freeze. It's always like, what?
Julianne, I have some amazing screenshots I have taken
Yeah,
of you frozen
bye.
over the years.
Yes,
I know.
absolutely.
Oh, we lost Steve out of Discord
Might
too.
be rebooting, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe his computer crashed on him. We'll figure it out.
it could be. Maybe his power went out. Maybe the cat attacked. It's a mystery.
Cat
Anything
attack.
could be.
I think it was circus. Yeah, I didn't convey the cadence properly.
Alright, now that's running.
Goodness gracious.
Also, anyone who's ever played Spyfall with Neil Lerner, it's also amazing.
That is a thing of beauty right there.
Yeah.
That man turns 50 shades of red. And also develops a sheen.
Oh man, I miss you people in person.
Right.
I miss our Megfest house. That was the best.
Yes, that really
All
was
I
the
have to
best,
say-
wasn't it? Holy smokes.
Lemon stick. All
I
all
know,
I
I
will
was
say.
thinking
Well,
about that just now.
and all those like interesting beverages.
Ah!
The one that
Sorry.
tasted like Christmas.
I like that one.
Bekharovka.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Bekharovka, people.
I was just like drinking it out of like the mugs that came in the Airbnb. So good.
Yes.
As is right and necessary.
Because it was January and it was like really cold. It was like perfect cuddly drink.
Yeah,
Not-
I really liked the house. I can see where like staying in that hotel would be super fun. But I kind of liked that we had a space a little bit away from all of it.
Nope,
Yeah, that was
I got
I
seen
think there would
again.
be too much temptation to like stay up all night and do all the things if I was in the
Yeah.
hotel.
That is
Yeah,
true.
for
Because
sure.
also you can't sleep 'cause it's very loud in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
after that.
Everybody goes to bed eventually in the hotel. And you get to do the cool late night party spaces in the hotel. But I think, honestly, for a variety of reasons, the big, best MagFests are behind us now. Frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
And
we have
PGing
to-
together is baller.
It is baller.
That was so fun. Oh my goodness.
It was nice to have been going through that document. Hello, Steve.
Who's
I'm
Boops?
back.
Welcome
Oops,
back,
oops.
Steve.
Hey, he's back! Hey, Steve!
I thought you were getting like really annoyed with something.
You're like,
I'm out.
why?
I'm out of here. I thought you guys did VVVVV the other day. Wait, VVVVV the
Five,
other day.
right?
Yeah, we
Six.
did do that the other day, yeah.
It's 6? Oh,
Hi.
no.
It is the
Sure.
letter V 6 times, that's correct.
It's 6 times? I
Yeah,
was
it
like
is
very,
6.
very sure it was 5 V's.
Because there's 6
No, we have to
checks.
find the six.
there's-
The six.
Maybe
V's
because
that you have to
V
find.
is 5 in Roman numerals and I
Ah.
got confused. I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah, that's a great game. I love that game.
It is a really great
Cool.
game.
Good theme song or main theme, whatever.
Where am I supposed to be
All the music is so
going
good.
next?
Yeah, and Ryan had some really good gameplay moments in that stream.
Yeah,
Because
you
I-
straight
Was
shot
that-
at some of that stuff.
So,
Yeah.
I just turned on this elevator system here. And I used it. I'm not convinced that gave me anything useful.
Don't you need to go over to the left? Because you've got to get to the core, right? The core
Yeah,
is
but
right there.
I need to get the beam first. See, to unlock the entrance to the core.
Oh, the triple beam? Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder if this elevator is going to be on now, so I can do it. Let's check that.
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
she did say corn fused. That
Did,
is a,
I've
that's a
never said-
Julianne. That's a hoagiism right there.
Oh wait, there's
I
a
tend
thing
to
down
say-
here.
Corn fuzzed. Because
Corn
that makes more
fuzz.
sense. That makes more sense.
It hasn't. Well, it's like silk, but still.
It's fuzzy. In a manner of speaking.
Oh no, that's a grapple location only.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't need
adjusted
that.
Florida man. Well, maybe the difference is that, you know, Pete wasn't born and raised in Florida.
Something to the left there.
Where?
There's a little. There's a narrow. Sorry, the right. I'm sorry. All the way right above where that missile is. There's a little crawling space, isn't there? Right there.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
you
that's too
slide
hot.
into a fire zone.
Yeah, it's too hot. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Up top there, can you get?
Qataris.
No,
0%.
see,
Yeah.
it's locked off.
Oh, that's that same thing. Yeah.
Also,
Oh,
many
but that's the
question
way
marks.
out, Ryan. Can you get there from the right side? Can you go up to the right a little bit and get up through this way?
You can't go this way, and this way leads you to an interactive device again. So no, essentially. You have to go back this way, through the Emmy zone.
So there's like a
and-
persistent growling noise as well, right? Is that the robot that's following you? Or is that some sort of Horizon Zero Dawn thing that I'm thinking about?
Yeah, I don't hear a persistent growling.
Wait, really? What? Am I listening to the wrong stream?
You're getting the
Across the
Discord,
stream.
right? You're listening through Discord.
I mean, I hear
Yes,
low
I am
stuff
listening
that.
through Discord. I just confirmed that, doubly confirmed that. I hear the pews. Well, I hear. You're not getting everything. What is happening?
Wait, really? You lived in Zambia? I did not know this about you, Dean.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's
is
cool.
really cool.
I also. Oh, that's a critter, an alive critter. I need to leave.
And instead of leaving,
Right. I'll kill
Right.
you instead.
I'm always
I-
fascinated by folks that moved at all, let alone like moved countries, because my parents are still in the house I grew up in. We've never gone anywhere else.
Oh, that's insane to me. Addie's the same way though.
Yeah, I grew up in all the same location all my life.
That's neat.
Very tied to the land, as farmers are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not I.
Yeah, you're a military brat.
That's right. Let's go back this way and see if there's something.
Was it Indonesia? Where were you for a bunch
The
of years?
Philippines is where I was
The
for a year.
Philippines.
Wow.
The year the volcano erupted there, which was a wildly interesting time to be in the Philippines.
Wow.
I can
Wow.
only imagine.
I love finding out surprising things about everybody. There are just the neatest people in our field.
It's true, though.
I think I need
I
to
just
figure out
cultivate interesting hobbies because
how to
I
get
don't go anywhere.
into this space here. Right? And I don't know how that is accomplished.
Gosh, I remember this a little bit. Do you bomb your way into it?
You don't have
You don't have
bombs
the bomb
yet.
yet. Yeah. There. If you go back in there, I do remember being there and being able to figure out how to get through.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't recall there being like.
It might be an
I
up
felt like
here answer.
Hmm.
It's close. Let me come figure it out again. Hold on.
I don't have a memory of this particular spot in the game being really
Hot
secure.
topic.
You sang that like Hot Pockets. Hot
I did, yes. Kind of a spoonerism almost of Hot Topic. But
Oh,
just
yeah,
topic, I guess.
We listened to Jimmy Eat World.
Oh my god.
In class last night, you mean?
Oh yeah. Oh
Ah.
yeah. Word Confessional.
I love Jimmy Eat World.
Good amount of we had a few songs. Brandon J. Trying to remember who else. There were a lot. The articles we read cited like dozens of musical examples, so we had to sort of jump through little bits of different
Yeah, I don't
pieces
think
of them.
it's here. You came
No,
here.
Panic at the Disco.
I
The
feel like I
Take
came-
Back Sunday. We even listened to some Avril Lavigne because she was like using a lot of the same like aesthetics.
We're gonna cheat a moment and look it up for the sake of time on the stream. We don't need to watch me flounder here. That's a waste.
So it was all the stuff I kind of hated in high school we had to listen to last night. And actually I enjoyed it. So, you know, teenage me would have been horrified, but teenage me was kind of a jerk when it came to music. So it was all death metal and prog rock up in my life and classical. And anything else, you know, really my emo problem was the kind of nasal vocal timbre. I thought the lead singer
I thought that was
sounded so
insufferable
whiny.
as well.
Yeah, I would have liked a lot of other elements of the music, but I did not like that vocal timbre, so I avoided them. But it was really fun to go back and listen because I remembered so much of that music just being around me from friends being into it.
Yeah, same.
Like, oh
Like,
yeah,
that
I
was
remember
very
this song.
2000s
All right,
style.
there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, next week is musical theater week, so that's going to be really fun.
That sounds cool.
We're going to be reading Stacey Wolf's article on queer conventions in Wicked, which is a fun romp. If anyone
All right.
has not read it, it's really good.
Nice.
I'm
I don't know
excited
that
for
one.
Dolly Parton week, though. That's going to be. I'm looking forward to Dolly Parton week.
I'm coming to Dolly Parton week.
Yeah.
I'm coming to Dolly Parton week.
Oh, buckets. Hold on.
I mean,
man.
Gaga and the
No.
week is also pretty good.
I might come to that too.
No.
I think
Fail.
they're back to back, so.
Abject failure by me. I figured out what it
I
is. There's
feel-
a
I still
ceiling you have
feel
to
like-
shoot through.
That's cool.
I still feel like they could have maybe preloaded the space that they were going to load you in somehow, because it's just the whole game mechanic is about you screw up repeatedly until you figure out the puzzle. And this part of it is actually not even that way, because you never know where the enemy's going to be. But you leave the room, come back 2 seconds later, and he's half a mile in the other direction, or not, or right in your face.
Yeah.
It's an awful lot to make you wait repeatedly through that loading sequence every half dozen times you die to a boss fight.
Yeah, that's fair. But a lot
I
of
am
Emmy
going
zones,
to-
like that transition is easy, right? Only a couple of them are really difficult. It just happens that this area has one of the few that is.
Yeah,
I am
and
going
I'm
to
actually
drop
more
out
complaining about
and
the
try to
boss
listen
fights
to
than-
the music off stream or the sounds because I want to see if I can hear something different than growling and super high pitches. And I'll come
so
back.
weird.
Okay.
It's
See you in a bit.
really okay. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Burp. Oh wait. Yeah. Let me get off of everything for a second. Oop.
Julian.
It's so different. All caps.
That's so weird. I wonder what the issue is, and I wonder if it has anything to do with the Discord issues I've been having.
Well, is Julianne on a PC? Or
I
I
don't.
don't know what her setup is. Because I'm on my PC and I have not had the Discord issues.
Julianne says she's on a Mac.
Oh.
My issues have been on the Mac. Now that I'm using the PC, it's fine.
Interesting.
Yeah, weird.
So now we have at least a through line between a couple times.
Yeah. This is a dead end, isn't it? Yeah.
I did not have high-pitched squealing and growling, though. So, I have no idea.
Just persistent whacking.
Great.
Which honestly the baseline is kind of doing, so.
It is kind of doing a little bit of that.
I mean, I wasn't kidding.
I feel like that round we were in like a grocery store too. You're really good at those games, and I am a nervous wreck.
No,
Because
we were on
even when
I think we were on a pirate ship, and I was the chef, which is why I was
Oh,
whacking
I thought you were
Right,
the
because like
butcher
Steve
in
is
the grocery
cutting,
store.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it had to do with a knife.
And the rope, right? Because we were on a ship. That's why Pete was all about the rope.
Yeah,
I
this
thought
is
the
where
rope
we're
really
heading
had
No,
to
the
do with
rope
the
was a different
circus.
round. That was the circus.
That was a circus.
He was trying to apply like acrobat or tightrope or something. And I remember because I was the spy and I was like, everyone lost it at that moment. So it gave me a minute to try to think of an answer because I was like, I don't know where this is going.
And yet Dana wasn't losing it for some reason. We were like suspiciously not losing it.
The emulator does not handle
actually.
these loading zones very well. I suspect that because it loads differently than the console does, but it's funny to me that the frame rate tanks here.
It does. And these loading sequences are also really miserable. They're more understandable, I think, than the other ones, but it's still pretty miserable to especially when you're at that part of the game where you're like, wait, where am I supposed to go? And you're not exactly being funneled properly. So it could be that you're in one zone, it could be that you're in another zone, and then you're starting to brute force.
What's interesting is I think the long load is partly intentional, because if you take the Super Metroid elevator from Criteria to Brinstar, this load time's the same as that.
Like second for second?
Pretty close, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and I recognize that has been an aspect of Metroid since the very first Metroid, but it's
like riding the elevator is a thing, right?
Right.
I don't know where I went, but I'm back.
And that kind of, I guess that brings me to my third complaint. The first one was the Shine Spark puzzle. The second one is the loading sequences. I find that this map is so dispersed, and yet so it's really hard to remember where you are. In a way that, like, viscerally, when I think about Super Metroid, like, I kind of always knew where I was going, what zone I was in, what zone I needed to get to next. And there's like 8 or 12 zones or something. There's a bunch of zones.
Yeah, there's a lot of zones here.
I can't really, like, necessarily remember what they look like, and which zone is the one that had that screw attack wall that I needed to get to? Well, there was some water in it, but is it the water one? Maybe it wasn't the water one. It was just, there's a few zones with water, but then there's a few zones with fire. Where am I? It's very hard to really internalize the geography of this world in the way that, like, the Super Metroid geography couldn't have been clearer.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Wait.
What did you figure out?
No, I can't figure it out because I'm not connected to Discord right now. I'm on Discord but not on the channel. But it's just persistent growling on Skype only.
You're in the channel.
I am? Oh,
yeah,
I am?
You're in the channel.
Oh, it put me back in. I didn't go in on my own. Alright, so that's that.
Yeah, so it's not just Skype doing it to you, at least.
Right.
Are you getting feedback from one of us somehow? Because I'm not getting any sort of feedback, but are you special?
I'm gonna undeafen, and I'm muted. But no, there's no growling right now. But maybe Steve, try to talk again.
Hey there.
Yeah, I don't
Yes!
think it's
No, it's Steve! Like growling.
What?
But not like when you're talking, it's after, it's like, and it doesn't sound like feedback. It sounds like I thought it was from the game. I really
wonder
did.
if it's this baby monitor. This is like the white noise machine through the baby monitor. I bet that's what it is.
I have the same.
But then why is
monitor.
only Julianne hearing it though? I don't hear any growling.
I don't know. I've muted it now, so you can tell me if it's continuing to growl.
You do sound clearer.
I still hear it.
I wasn't hearing the growl, but
It was a good thought, anyway.
you do sound a little clearer.
Well-
yeah, I have that same baby monitor. It's great.
Yeah.
Steve is not muted in Discord. Maybe Steve ought to be muted in Discord.
Well, that
Oh.
would just be me though.
Right, I don't know why it would just be you, but I wonder if that would help anything.
How do I open the mute? Okay, does that help?
Okay, well if I also deafen everything. Well, I don't hear anything right now.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Okay. I'm undeafened though. Okay. I'm gonna put the stream on.
I mean, my adult cats were growling at the kitten a while ago. Maybe that's.
Oh
what it
yeah.
was.
Here's Emmy number 4, Oofta.
It's fine now. Yeah.
I bet you that was it, Julianne.
That's
I don't know why you'd be the only one that
so
needed
weird that
to
it
hear
would be
it.
me that I pulled up QuickTime to record it. It was so bizarre to me. I've never heard feedback like that. So I didn't think it was feedback at all.
I got to moderate us, y'all.
Oh,
I'm like
I missed what
excited.
happened.
That's so
Oh, you
rare.
did!
Oh, what
Nice
happened?
catch!
Want to become famous? Buy followers. Like, no.
It's
No, I
Ben
don't.
Lambo.
I
It's
have
the
kept
poop.
up just enough with some of like the the Twitch meta and like some of the big streamers and their drama, and like I don't want to be that level of Twitch famous. No, thank you.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's because I'm closer to the camera, probably. I don't know.
It's the way that you show up on stream. All of us have our little rectangles, and you have this giant square.
Oh yeah, okay, I see it now. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the
Oh
Twitter.
yeah.
I'll take it being the guest of honor. Though.
That's just a function of the way the webcam's configured, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Ryan did call me a square earlier.
Yeah, that's what I meant, is that we all appear as rectangular webcams and you have a square.
Steve's presence always looms large. Yes, Pete.
Hi.
Yeah, it's weird that loading screens, like, essentially fail in the emulator.
That's weird.
I mean, it's not a huge hindrance compared to getting to play the rest of the game in HD, right? Like, I will live.
I don't know. Sometimes loading screens and like not having a true loading screen, that's a deal breaker. I don't know.
That's
I like when they give you
actually,
tips.
I need to ask you, Julianne, if you're free a week from today in the morning to help with my class. I'm teaching your class on liminal spaces on Final Fantasy IV again.
Oh, but I'm not free. I'm so mad. I'm traveling for the wedding, for my brother's wedding.
Oh, nice.
Otherwise, absolutely, I would. Liminal spaces.
So now we can open this door, which is exactly where we need to go. Let's
We
go
already
take
planned
care
out
of
all the
some
music
business.
for your brother's wedding, so I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
I'm the number honk down the aisle, baby.
And the recessional can be Gale.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Good time.
Steve, are you aware of Mambo number honk?
Oh, here we go.
No.
I will text it to you. It is.
I really
Ryan
Dan and I
wanna
appreciate
know
it
how
more than
this
everything
reacts.
else.
Ryan, I did not think you were gonna make it through that door.
No, me neither. All right.
It's nice of the Emmy to leave you alone while you're in this room.
Right.
Eyeball and a brain.
All right.
As soon as I start typing Mambo, it knows exactly what I'm searching. What a thing of beauty.
I still think my favorite part about the game might be that with the blaster, it takes the time, like the 3D perspective shift here. I love it. I liked that mechanic in Other M a lot, and I wish that there was like a way to actually use it here more than just as a kind of perspective.
Yeah.
Swear about 16 times to get banned from streaming. No, it's only copyright strikes that get you banned, right? 3 in a row?
Yeah,
Oh, really? It's 3
and some other
strikes?
less savory things as well.
I was gonna say there are a few other things. that you can say, but regular swearing isn't necessarily a deal breaker.
Morph ball.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard
good.
music for a second.
There was music there for a second.
Okay, good. Not crazy. Gaslit
You
by
finally
Discord.
get the morph ball back, which means you can do stuff like this now, right?
And I guess, we probably should do our jobs here and mention that item pickup music
Jobs.
goes all the way back to the very beginning of the series as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm off the clock.
As I
I'm
already
off the
pointed
clock.
out, I'm mad that they lost the trill.
Oh.
I like the little flourish at the end.
Oh yes, you did mention the troll.
So I am annoyed that it is not there. I'd like it there. It's like a little bit of, again, Baroque like fanciness, silliness in an otherwise very terrifying sound space.
And the tune isn't exactly the same in each game too. There's a few different variations. I think this one goes back to the very first game, but there's also so there's bum 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 bum, but then there's also oh gosh, I had it in my head a second ago, and now that I sang this one, I forgot it. Bum 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 bum.
Right, it
The other
starts
one.
different.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you to do it.
That's
in
the
Six
original
Go,
Metroid
but
1
again,
tune
we're off the
that
clock.
you just did.
Yeah.
Justice for Jedzia Jax. Nice trill reference, Julianne.
had to go there.
Oh.
Yeah, Jedzia is really the best.
She's great.
I don't know if I should say much more. I don't know who hasn't finished DS9.
Right. I'll just keep it at
I'll
that.
just leave it at that. Jedzia is amazing.
Yeah.
I watched Stargate SG-1 for the first time last year during the pandemic.
Oh,
Did you
that's
love
a
it?
big commitment. That's like 10 seasons, isn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
It's been like 30 years now, spoiler. Yeah, that's a good point. But you never know what people decided to pick up finally in
Yeah.
the pandemic.
I would be mad if this were a year ago because I was watching DS9 for the first time and really invested, and I would have been mad if someone gave that away.
That's legit.
So there's your.
I think it's time for a giant. It's time for a Star Trek rewatch. I think.
Always.
Yeah.
But it's October
Always
though,
time
so I
for
have to
Star
do all of.
Trek rewatch.
Right now it's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's Halloween season. Got to do the scary movie, scary show. Till
There you go.
November 1. Then I can do Star Trek.
Mm,
Yeah.
Maybe we can go
I think
here
that's
now.
fair. Star Trek is a very cozy thing to watch.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
and
great.
it's so
It's a
there's so
cozy
much
show.
of it, so it's perfect for a winter where you're not leaving your house again.
It's really good for that. Uh-huh.
We did a lot of movies during the pandemic. We didn't do as many series, but Joe and I worked our way through the AFI 100 films list.
Nice. That's a good thing.
You know, we skipped anything we'd already seen, and there are a few things that we still haven't watched just because we didn't have good access to them, or, you know, there are a few things like Lawrence of Arabia. He was waiting for some 4K release of some sort. If we have the projector, you know, we must have the best visual possible. So
I
there
feel
are-
that.
There are some things we
Right.
skipped, but we did it chronologically too, so it was really fun to start in the silent era and come forward. And actually, one of my favorite things in the entire project was Sunrise, which I think was 1915.
Nice.
Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not
I don't know
15, 27. We watched
Goodness.
another one from 1915, though. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it was really beautiful. It was a beautiful little film. I also realized I'd seen a lot more films. I always think of myself as like very woefully unschooled in film, but I'd seen a lot of them. So that was kind of nice.
Ah. Well, not that way. Probably not here either.
Ooh, it's like a book club, but for movies, Pete. I love that.
Yeah, it's
That
fun.
sounds fun.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
definitely
we can get back to Dairon that way.
We technically, we joined it wasn't really a book club, but it was like a stream, a VTuber was holding court while everyone was watching The Room together. So she wasn't streaming the movie because of copyright, but like there was her commentary and then there was the chat, and then, you know, like she told everyone how to like queue it up together. And we did that when Josephine was like 3 weeks old, so that was technically her first movie.
Her first movie was The Room. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just such a good origin story for her.
Granted, she was sleeping on me the entire time, but she was in the room while we watched The Room.
Where
I
it
don't know if
happened.
I can approve of that or not.
We called CPS.
Ah,
Steve, how's your little baby?
Oh,
Or
he's not so
large
little
baby.
anymore. Yeah,
I know,
he's
I was
getting
gonna
bigger
say.
and bigger.
Oh my goodness.
Walking, talking, running.
Oh my god, I can't. Wow.
He's adorable.
Running.
So smart.
that's not a surprise.
I can imagine.
I will
He
say
knows exactly how to push my buttons, and he's only 19 months old, and he knows
oh,
exactly.
that's going to continue to develop.
He'll
Don't
look
you
you
worry.
right in the eyes, and he'll do the thing. You don't want me to do this, right, Papa? I'm gonna do it anyway.
Man.
He knows.
Oof.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
But he's starting to sing now, which is really cute. And of course, he doesn't have like he says a number of words, but still a lot of times it's just a jumble of phonemes, right? So like he was singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" today, so you would go like "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and then he'll go "Abba Googa Ba Ba Da," right, or whatever.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, good try, good try.
So, I have to be honest, one of the things I'm mad at the pandemic about, and of course this is a very long list, right, is that a lot of good friends of mine have had kids recently, and I am missing out on the best kid visit times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to smell
was
some
hard.
babies' heads.
You know, Sasha was born, like, we went into the hospital and life was normal, and we came out and everything was locked down. It was really surreal. It was crazy.
Wow.
That's like
And it was hard.
that's
you know,
kind of
we
like a
were-
bad
we didn't
horror
have
movie
family.
from like the late 90s almost, you know what I mean? Like,
Are you hearing any more growling, Julianne? Because there's definitely growling going on in this room now.
No, I don't hear anything else. But
so was it March of 2020 when,
Yeah, March 13th, 2020.
oh man,
wow.
that's
that is
wild. Yeah.
Shit.
And then, you know, we didn't know anything about it, of course. None of us did, and so we didn't know how to raise a baby. We, you know, we completely new at this, and we don't have family in
Good time.
town. We don't have. We
Yeah.
aren't letting friends in the house.
It's
We've got
really
some friends that are
isolating.
dropping off groceries for us, you know, and then that was back when we were doing the thing where you would like quarantine the groceries and spray them all with like disinfectant. you
Yep.
know?
Yep, I remember that.
It was hard.
Ugh.
It was like probably 6 weeks before we saw another person, you know, in face to face without being through a window or something like that or on Zoom.
Ugh.
Oh,
Goodness.
Trying to raise your very first baby under those conditions, it was really hard. But,
Whereas
you know,
I was
okay.
enough behind that I found out I was pregnant beginning of April, and our lockdown had just come in like mid-March, so we'd only been locked down a few weeks. And being
Yeah.
pregnant and having a good reason to kind of need to isolate
Yeah.
further was actually sort of nice. It was a luxury in a lot of ways, but I was really nervous at the outset about, you know, how is this thing going to go? Is Joe going to be allowed in the delivery room? And luckily that was, you know, they just tested us and everything when we got there, but was
Yeah.
interesting. But then with her being born, end of November, the second or third day we were home, there was a giant snowstorm, and so we were even more cut off from even just folks dropping by and seeing you through the window. So really, really isolating. It's really hard. So I share that feeling, even though we're a number of months behind. But it's also been nice because, Joe's been working from home. He still is.
Yeah.
So, it means that I often get a shower, like, in the morning. So I, can hand off the baby to him, and she'll hang out with him while I'm taking a shower. So that's a nice feeling. I know plenty of moms that don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
Or dads, for that matter.
As it turned out, Alina was on a semester sabbatical in her first trimester. So the same as you're saying, like that worked out really nicely for her because she wasn't wanting to do very much, other than sleep and lie down on the couch and during those first few weeks.
Yeah, I was surprised how tired. I've never been a napper, but the simplest things, I felt like my energy tanks were just low.
Yeah.
Which, granted, your body's doing a lot of things when you're like growing a human, but it was definitely frustrating to not be able to really calibrate. It reminds me a lot of when folks talk about like spoons with chronic illness, and you kind of don't know how many attacks it's going to take. The whole calibration of like, I generally know how much energy something is going to take to do was just out the window.
Yeah.
And then I would get frustrated because I'm like, well, I planned to do X, Y, Z, and I only got X done. That was frustrating. But it was also really a nice quiet time.
It was nice to. So I was on sabbatical, full year sabbatical last year, and that was pretty nice. It was a good year to be on full year sabbatical for sure. But the amount of time that I really got to spend with him was special too, in that respect. And then of course we were both working from home last year. And we're all back in person classes now.
Yeah. Definitely mixed feelings about being in person.
No, mine aren't mixed. I'm pretty unhappy about it.
Oh, really?
What is your
I don't mind being in
institution doing about vaccines and masks? I'm curious.
Well, they were going to do nothing about either of them until the faculty staged a protest for it. Our health and safety person found out that she was posting anti-vax ivermectin type nonsense on her Facebook.
Oh my God!
Holy
this is
cow!
the person setting COVID policy at the university. No. She's still in the job.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh no! Holy smokes!
Oh, I want to be dead.
So that tells you what my university is doing. They're also setting a brand new policy this year about how full classes need to be. They are cramming students in the classrooms, making sure that they have minimum enrollments. This year, right? I go into my classroom. There is students on top of each other, and it's a COVID year, but they don't. Apparently, it's all a myth anyway, and the vaccines are not as good as ivermectin as far as our health and safety person is concerned.
Oh
that's
my God,
insane to me. I couldn't do it.
Well, so I just bought a bunch of N95s, and I do that and wash my hands all the freaking time.
Yeah.
We are allowed to have our office hours be online only, and so my office hours are online only. But still, I'm in 3 hours a day in a tight classroom with a bunch of 18-year-olds who are not necessarily known for their and now I should be careful because I actually emailed all of my classes saying, hey, if you're interested, you can pop into
I know all of our students are like you.
Yeah,
I'm luckier
and so many
than that.
folks, they just kind of hit the end of their rope with the isolating, and then they're in a space like that where it's so easy to just hang out with a couple people and then hang out with a couple more people. Like, I don't know that I would have had the fortitude to be as isolated as I am now in my 30s if I was 18 and on a college campus. So that's not me saying like kids are idiots. It's just, like from a social development perspective and where they are, it's not surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a vaccine mandate and a mask mandate. So I have...
Yeah, us too.
0 of that in Texas, of course.
Yeah.
We do have the mask mandate now, and again, this was as a result of a faculty protest. But we don't have the vaccine mandate, and I don't see one forthcoming. Other Michigan, Ohio schools have them. Like, I know Cleveland State has it. But
case for anybody that has an exemption, they have to get tested every 3 days. So it's a real pain to have the exemption.
I don't know how often we have to get ours tested.
Have to get tested, unless I get sick. But I am invited to get tested once a week, as is everybody on campus these days.
Yeah. Pete's asking you if you're volunteering in the dining hall, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you all see that email? What's funny is that went to Addie, but not to me, because I'm not tenured, I'm on the union, and they know better than to mess with us. The tenured faculty were asked to volunteer in the dining halls, though. Yes.
That's amazing.
I don't know anybody that's actually been doing that.
I can't imagine. Who would decide to do that?
Oh my god.
Great use for my PhD.
That's insane.
Oh my god. Infuriating.
Right, who wouldn't want to sling food at the dining hall with your PhD?
I don't care if I have a PhD or not. You need to hire people to do the labor and not rely on volunteers. I don't care what degree you have. You don't rely on volunteers.
A living wage.
Yeah. That's the thing.
God.
Well,
Frustrating.
It has spread and gone so viral that whatever cost savings MSU were hoping to glean from this kind of a nonsensical thing, they've certainly lost in PR lately. They're quite the laughing stock.
Kidding.
Thank you, Crazy Cookies, for subscribing.
Yeah, and so what's interesting... Yes, thank you for the subscription. Here at MSU...
to use emotes. Fun ones.
Except for getting an email in your spam folder, it comes from such a high administrative place that I don't have to respond to it in any meaningful way. It's a spam email, as far as I'm concerned. Right? For instance, if my dean would make a bad decision, and I'm not saying this just because I'm in public, I really like the dean that I have. He's the most accessible administrator I've ever had. Then it would affect me, because I have to answer his emails, right? I can't just decide not to respond to the dean or my chair. But the provost or the president, like, it's so high up, people I rarely interact with on a one-to-one basis, that I can ignore that particular email and be like, no, that's not for me.
Aha, it does look like we've got a YSU person here, so here I've been bad-mouthing the school. Oops.
Well, it sounds like the code policy says that it should be bad-mouthed, right? Like,
only certain people and policies.
Bring on the mask mandates and vaccine mandates and some class size control, right? Yes, that's what you need.
Yeah, I just want my students to be safe, you know? I hate getting an email of, you know, I'm showing symptoms, I have a breakthrough case, I'm gonna have to miss this week, or, you know, that's all I care about. I just want everybody to stay safe.
Yeah.
I had a colleague put it this way, and I really like it. He said, now I will purposely omit that colleague's name in case he doesn't want this story being told publicly. To his class, when the semester started, he said, look, I've got 4 goals for the semester that are going to occur. 1, I'm going to keep my family safe. That's top priority for me. 2, I'm going to keep you safe. right? That's second. You guys aren't as important as my family for me, but you're close, right? This is my job to take care of students. 3, maybe we'll learn something this semester while we're doing 1 and 2. And 4,
Yeah.
maybe 400 is giving a damn what the administration has to think about that.
Seriously. I mean, that's it.
That's where I'm at.
That's the list. That's the list.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to go to campus so rarely these days, but even the times that I'm there, I'm still just like, I'm so weirded out because I'm like, I haven't spent any reasonable amount of time there since March 2020. My office isn't even my office anymore.
Oh,
But
weird.
still
What
going
is
to
it?
campus, and I'm like, ooh. What?
What is your
Did
office
they
now?
repurpose it? Yeah.
A place where adjuncts live this year. In lieu of me and my no longer office mate.
Man.
That's crappy too, honestly.
No, I gave it up. Why would I want to have my office just sit there unused and be empty for a year when there's adjuncts with no place to work?
That is nice.
I have a key. It's not, and my stuff is still there. I can go in. I just choose not to because why would I do that?
I guess I thought you had to completely evacuate, but yeah.
No.
Your
All
regular stuff.
of my shit's there. Everything's in the drawers. I've literally put like all my personals in one drawer with like a sticky note on it that says this stuff belongs to me. Please don't touch it. And like put all my books around the shelves and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, they can rummage through my desk drawers and find staples and chapstick and whatever else the heck they want.
Chapstick.
You know, it's all good. Please don't use my
your
chapstick. I hope they don't. Maybe I'll throw it out. It's been there for a minute. But no,
yeah.
they need places to work. There isn't
Here's
a place
where
for
I'm
them
going.
to work, so they're going to
That's
use
good.
my office, and that's fine.
Good guy
More
Karen.
Pretty awesome adjuncts at
We
heart.
need more
this
good
year.
guys. Good guy Karen.
Well, Dana, you're one of them, but you don't get to use my office.
That's true. I don't get to use your office. I get to use my office here.
We do have
No.
some pretty cool adjuncts and other pinch hitters at heart this year, I have to say. Thank goodness. Thank bloody goodness.
And both last semester and this semester, I've gotten to teach really awesome material, and the group of students has been excellent both times. So I've just been really pleased.
Nice.
You're gonna have a full house next semester, and
Oh.
like I said, I want to take your class. I'm just gonna be there every week. I hope you don't mind.
You can
I'm
teach
just
it
gonna
for
be
me.
there.
So much overlap.
That goes against being on sabbatical.
Oh,
But then again, so do so many things.
So do so many
So many things go against being on sabbatical, and yet here we are.
Yeah, I would argue
I'm
that
excited.
what you're doing right now is not actually a sabbatical at this point, frankly.
No, of course it's not. But it is. But it's not.
Teaching leave.
Schrodinger's sabbatical.
It's
Schrodinger's sabbatical. Ooh.
It is Schrodinger's sabbatical. It's absolutely Schrodinger's sabbatical. It's where you spend 30 hours a week doing work for the institution while on sabbatical. It's great.
So
Good times.
all professors need to read an essay before they start being a professor. And I'm glad that I started right around the time it was published, so that I didn't have to work for a really long time without having read it. And that is The Institution Cannot Love You
Yes.
by Tressie McMillan Cottom.
Well, yep. It's true.
Yeah, they
It's-
suck.
Pete, it's been very
On the flip
it's
side.
been very unusual circumstances
Here,
here,
let's
and
go
it's not the school's fault, it's not the administrator's fault. If anything, it's my fault because I volunteered, but when you have a department that has literally been reduced to one person and that person becomes suddenly ill and can no longer do their job, and there is literally nobody else to do any administration except the person that's on sabbatical.
Then that
And
person needs to be paid a
nobody
ton.
else sabbatical. Well, they're not getting paid a ton, but there is compensation of a sort.
To counter the institution cannot love you, I believe it was Lady Gaga who made a comment that your job will also never break up with you. So which is actually false. Or the
Yeah, I
what
was
did you
gonna say
the
that's
work will
demonstrably
never break
untrue
up
in
with
our
you?
field.
Let me figure out what the
will
actual
totally
quote
break up.
was.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I do not have any regrets doing what I'm doing this semester. I wish the circumstances were a little different. I wish the compensation were different. And I wish to have a do-over on my sabbatical.
Okay,
But
the actual quote is,
don't mind
if you're
doing what I
wondering which way to go, remember that your career will never wake up and tell you it doesn't love you anymore. That's the Gaga quote. That's dark. But your career will also never tell you it loves you in the first place. So. Checkmate, Gaga.
Checkmate.
So Ryan, this comment is probably about 10 minutes late now.
Yeah.
But it references the teleporters in this game. Were there teleporters in previous Metroid titles?
Let's zoom out for a minute. No. What there are in previous Metroid titles are sneaky connections between zones that you don't expect. There's more than one point of contact. So for instance, from Arteria over to Kataris, Zone 2, in Super Metroid there might have been two different means of access, but they'd be elevators still, in most cases, right?
Or there's the tunnel that you can blow up in Super Metroid that gets you from the path to Norfair into Meridia.
Yes.
There was that. But I find that the teleporters, this is kind of going back to the comment I was making earlier about not really getting an intuitive sense of the geography of this world. The teleporters really don't help with that. Especially the way they send you when the sort of the railroading version of the game, right? The non-sequence broken version of the game will shuttle you through the space, up an elevator, through the space, into a teleporter back to another area that you were at earlier, where you walk for a little while and then you teleporter back. It's so confusing and it feels so
I need to
disorienting.
go up here. Incidentally, that's where I'm headed. The teleporters tend to be required / semi-required here, in the sense that they always take you where you need to go. So for instance, I've been tooling around Arteria forgetting this principle, and instead looking for things that aren't going to actually work out. Like this is not going to turn out to be useful, right? Let's go back.
Oh, that was an intense hit sound when you hit that little bug.
Yeah, they do a lot of damage in this game.
Yeah.
I hear no
Everything
sounds,
does damage
just
in this
the
game.
squeak.
You've got you may have 6 energy tanks, but when the boss does 200 damage in a single hit, 6 energy tanks go out really, really fast.
Yeah, eventually things start doing 500 and 600 damage at a time.
So the only exception to that were the teleporters, and I didn't even realize this was not signposted well at all. But once you've unlocked all of them, then you can teleport from any teleporter to any other teleporter. And that makes the hunt for items at the end of the game quite a bit more humane than it was. Those are bombs.
Yep.
I was just there today.
It's up.
I don't know anything about the geography of this game. It's a total mystery. Oh, no, those are bombs.
But here's the thing. I've also been playing Super Metroid for moving on 30 years, right? Is it possible I just know that intuitively better and it's not better signposted? I don't know. I'm too biased to tell you that in relation to this title right now.
Yeah, that's really hard. It's hard to say too because it's about the same time frame for me. But I don't remember. I feel like in that game you moved through these zones at a pretty steady clip. You know, you spent a whole lot of time in Brinstar, then you moved on into Norfair, and then you went, up onto the ghost ship, and you really did those in sequence. And you didn't have to do a whole lot of bouncing back and forth between zones. You did some of it, but it felt like in that game you were really going to be in one zone for a good long time, and you really got to become familiar with it. And here, it's really hard to get that feeling when you're in a zone and teleporting to another zone and then, elevatoring back to the first one again.
Yeah. Now let's listen here for a moment in the room with the items. What's our ambience do?
I can only hear squeaking.
Julian.
It's just a
Still the
repeated
same.
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some cool overtones going on in there.
Oh, I was going to ask earlier too if. Then this probably we would need to do a little bit more digging than that, but in terms of having an atonal musical score, an aesthetic built around an atonal musical score, like purposefully.
Yeah.
Was Metroid the first one, or were there games that preceded Metroid that did that?
Will
In a
has asked
purposeful
this
way.
question, and I
In a
Do
don't
you
purposeful
count
remember.
way,
sheer
yeah.
chromaticism as atonal? Because Space Invaders would be the first one, if so.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm not going to count that because that to me is not like.
Yeah.
I would argue
There's
there's no
tonal
tonic,
implications
right?
for
That's
that.
not in a key per se.
But you
But
hear it as one. You hear
It's,
that.
it's not
tone
actively
size.
atonal in the way that, like, an ambient soundscape. The
That's
Metroid
a
item
boundary
rooms
case,
are.
I feel, yeah. Because that's still music-ish. But not... Huh. More like
I mean-
musicalized sound. Not a...
There
Yeah.
is the Atari quote-unquote problem of having the channels out of tune, and therefore,
Yeah, I'm not going to count that one either.
Delightful.
okay,
Yeah.
most of the time they just step that by having percussion and melody, but
Will made a really, really great point on this back when we could meet in person. It's fun to make fun of the tunings that emerge on the Atari, but he was taking the position that there's a real ableist position that music should be equally tempered in this way, and that the tunings of the Atari are kind of failures for not being so.
I have 100% said that exact same thing, so we are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and I totally buy it.
I have had issues when folks. How far do I want to go with this? I have had issues when folks present it as like making fun of it, or kind of like in a mean-spirited holding something up as an example of badness.
Yeah.
It hits me in a very vulnerable place because I don't perceive it that way, and
See, what I will
find
say
a lot
is
of
it's
it.
possible to do like stuff on the Atari that is not really well facilitated on the Atari. My example is borrowed from that talk. The Hall of the Mountain King, you're not going to get a high-quality rendition of that piece on the Atari. It's probably not a good idea to write for it as if you could. Right?
So here's the thing.
But you could do
take
things on the Atari that are interesting, just not that.
Right. You could treat the Atari as its own idiomatic instrument and write music that is designed for that tuning. And instead of trying to apply that 12-tone model to it, say, hey, this isn't a 12-tone instrument. This is something else entirely that has its own interesting qualities.
Right.
And I'm sure we could write some really interesting music that takes advantage of those tunings. It's a really great point.
And even beyond that, I think I like to give the folks that were working within that system a lot of credit. I think we're often imagining, I don't know, that they're sort of looking back and regretting everything, instead of this being the furthest that the technology had come at that particular moment, and being excited about the affordances and the possibilities. And to some extent, some of those people were putting these things together and listening to that output and deciding that they liked it. It wasn't always just some hack job rushed because we ran out of time. So I like to be a little more charitable and say that there's something interesting here, and it may not be aligning with a Western tuning, but I can still enjoy a lot of what I'm hearing in these soundscapes. I don't. It's not I want to be just let people enjoy things, because I think Joe made a comment to me the other day about folks getting really heavy on that rhetoric, and he's like, let people not enjoy things. That was what he said to me. He's like, I'm allowed to not like stuff too, and that's fine.
Let people not enjoy things is fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that
Foster
was
the hate.
That was a funny take. Because he's like, because then it's just that I'm being exclusive because I don't like something or my aesthetic doesn't line up with somebody else's, and I thought that was a fair point. But I do get annoyed when it's a very like modern, I don't know, hindsight is 2020 kind of lens to put on examining that music, and I just don't find it fun.
Yeah.
I don't find it as rigorous.
Yeah.
I think there's more interesting things you could be doing with that material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very assumptive that, everyone is coming to things with a very particular musical enculturation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've purposely skipped Kraid, by the way. I am going to go for that quick kill. I don't think we'll be able to do it in 5 minutes here when we're supposed to be done. But I'll save it for a fun moment on the stream where we just need one thing at the end. And then I'll pop and do the Kraid quick kill.
Cool.
Which involves getting grapple beam and bombs early. And then you go back, and there's a little platform. You can shoot your morph ball body into Kraid's stomach and blow him up from the inside, all gruesome and gross.
Nice.
That finishes that boss fight much quicker. Better.
But in general, Steve, I feel like ever since Will was working on the Metroid stuff initially and was sort of asking that same thing about like the silence track and the atonal stuff, I don't think anybody has really thrown out an example yet that has countered that. I know he's asked Neil. If anybody's gonna have something like really at the front of his mind, it's gonna be Neil with all his arcade work. But for the most part, a lot of that stuff, with its like attract screens and everything, is very pop music oriented or very tonal. So
let me ask a question here. Listen to what's happening right now. I would put this firmly in the realm of cinematic ambiance scoring, not an actively atonal piece with a melody that we're meant to hear, the way the item room in Metroid is in the foreground for you as the player, right? So I would really hesitate to connect like the atonality of the Metroid space on the NES to all cave type spaces, right? This is coming from a different language.
Well, I was bringing this up earlier when we were in the I guess the fire one where it was bum bum bum, like it was much more percussive and forefronted scoring in that other space than this one.
And this one, a lot of it you could read as diegetic. Like, yeah, there are some like sustained tones, but a lot of it could sort of be read as connected to machinery or the creatures in here, or it's a little more active now, but where we just were.
Right.
Oh, this one. This is the one that specifically that I was thinking of when I asked the question, which is kind of at the forefront in the same way that item room was.
Yeah.
Save here because we are almost done. And then I'll track down how to navigate this space a little bit later. I can't think of a game that before Metroid that actively had atonality.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I actually think that Space Invaders is a pretty good answer to that.
Karen doesn't buy it, and I sort of agree that
the Space Invader tone, the chromatic scale ends on a note, right? And we always tend to hear a chromatic run you hear the landing on the bottom note wherever you choose to stop, as kind of a tonic arrival, if that makes sense. But there's definitely not a dominant cadence to help
But it's
give you
four
what you would
half
call
steps,
tonic.
right?
It is just 4
Yeah.
chromatic half steps repeated.
Yeah. But I think there's the possibility
can
of
also think-
internalizing that differently.
There's the Pong, right? Because Neil talks about Pong too, and the different
Yeah.
sounds. I don't remember what those tones are offhand.
It's
Whether
an
they would-
octave. It's boom, boom.
It's
I'm trying to
beep
remember.
and then
the-
boop.
I want to say it's B. Hold on.
It's like
Beep
B and B
then
flat,
boop.
but there's
I love it.
It's like a B or a B flat. I can't remember.
yeah, it's like B's and B flats, but it's not a melody. They're more sound effects. I don't think anybody internalizes them as being specifically musical in order to give them tonality or atonality.
Well, but
Yeah.
Neil does make that argument. I mean, he talks
Yeah.
about that being the first aleatoric
Sure.
game score, but it is kind of a.
So it's not half steps. Having just pulled it up, it is.
Yeah,
I hear
Space
that
Invader.
as well.
Yeah,
Oh.
What was I?
Meow,
I
meow,
hear it
meow,
as
meow,
do down to
meow,
so
meow,
and back up
meow,
to do.
meow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I hear that as being tonicized.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. So, what other examples of a truly atonal, with a melody we're meant to hear, atonal, exists beyond that one room in Metroid?
Just in the first Metroid, or
Well, it comes up in a couple other of
Earlier.
the titles as well,
right?
right? But
wait,
what other
no,
games
the-
even
the-
have that?
In NES and earlier?
Oh,
Pong's
No,
a B
I meant,
flat, by the
like-
way.
because oh wait, you know what? Super Mario Brothers, the castle music in the end of each in the fourth levels. And then the bum 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 bum
Which, of course, is
bum
quoting-
bum.
Which is quoting
I don't know what Super Mario Brothers 1 is quoting.
Yeah.
Metroid. That
No,
is
that'd
kind
be
of taken from
an
Metroid.
anachronism, if it were. Metroid would be quoting Mario Brothers.
Is it the other way around? This is
Super
something
Mario
that gets
Brothers
brought
is
up
for
in Neil's
sure
chapter,
the first
isn't it?
NES game.
Hold on.
I'm really confident in that claim.
1985.
Remember that Metroid is originally a Famicom Disk System release. We're not even hearing the music as it was originally composed.
True. Oh my god. All right. What?
But I've never thought about, does Metroid quote Super Mario Brothers there? That would be fascinating if that atonal thing is related. I'm going to keep the stream open. We're a couple minutes over, but now I have to have that answer.
I'm pulling it up. One moment. Okay, where does he discuss 121 here?
I'm just going to look up the two scores, and we will share them.
Oh, maybe his comments here are too smart because he's going back to the silent film cues. Okay, hold on. Maybe it was Sharpman.
So they're not related, team. The castle theme is, as Steve said, da, da,
As I just roll back to my
da, 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 da. And Metroid's item theme is womp 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 womp
Castle theme.
womp womp
Okay.
womp. The burbling in there, right?
Well done. It's funny.
Burbling. There we go. All right.
Can you just pull those up quickly on YouTube for the stream?
Yes, of course I can. I can even, hold on, let me reroute my audio very quickly to you all so that you can hear it too. So, music. Here is, I'm not going to put it onto the stream in video format because we're just listening. Here is the Super Mario Brothers 1-1 castle.
Oh yeah, that's this.
All right.
I'm also thinking of Death Mountain in Legend of Zelda, by the way.
So now I'm just like, what? I must be quoting. I must be thinking of the wrong connection.
Yep.
But
Right.
that bass line is taken from another game, and I'm trying to remember like where the citation was, or it shows up elsewhere, and it was very plausible that it was like an in joke between folks.
And this one, I think, is a
This
better
one is just
example.
so weird.
Is what I would describe as like pure atonality in the academic
Borderline
sense.
12 tone. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not quite, but it's close. Yeah.
almost there. Yeah.
But you wouldn't hear the Super Mario Brothers example and think that it's 12-tone atonality at all. Because the stuff above it helps place it in a, if not in a traditional key, certainly in a certain range of pitches they've chosen to use. Metroid, at no point during this piece do you have any implication or thought as to what the next note, quote, should be. You can't do that with this piece. It's not possible. Here it is.
Yeah, it really jumps around.
Yeah.
Right, 2 upward leaps after the back and forth, and you just don't know. Right? Of course it repeats. It's only a 7-second piece.
Can you pull up the Death Mountain?
I mean, you don't have a good sense of the meter either, so that helps.
Right. Yeah, I can do the you mean the level 9 theme from Zelda 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely bum 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 bum.
It's the blues, though.
I always heard it as Evil Here Comes the Bride. I think
Evil
it's mostly
Here
the rhythm.
Comes the Bride is fantastic.
Well, when I was a kid, it was the rhythm, I think, that made me think that.
Nice. It's less immediately like, this is the tonic note, here's the key we're in, than some others.
These are like examples. The Super Mario and the Zelda would be like early 20th century, and that Metroid thing is like pure 1950s Milton Babbitt sounding. Right?
Yeah. It reminds me very strongly of the story that somebody tells about his composition experience, that he got invited to go to this professor's concert, right? And the professor is one of those like very academic ivory tower composers. And so this person goes to the concert and he's like, oh man, the sound check is something else, isn't it? And he doesn't realize for too long that that's the work, right? There is no sound check. They just, the work is ongoing. But you couldn't differentiate it as an outsider to the process.
I'm so
Of
annoyed
course.
that I can't find this.
I really want to know, Dana. This is going to be homework for next week now. You got to tell
I'm
us
gonna find it.
from
I'm
where
gonna find
that
it,
comes.
'cause
The whole stream wants to
I
know.
know
now.
this isn't a fever dream. I read it. It's used somewhere else, and it was very clear. And I remember seeing the transcription and going,
Okay.
"Holy moly! I never
But
caught
so
that."
wait, used somewhere else, meaning some future video game borrows from Super Mario Brothers, or meaning one of
I
the
think
games from
so.
the 70s pre-exists it, right?
Well, I don't think it was earlier.
Because Mario set so many precedents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are borrowed. Like water and waltz being associated
Right.
existed before Super Mario Brothers, but it exists in video games because of Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, I've got to know, man. And I cannot keep the stream up or stay up much longer. I have to fix a lab sheet for tomorrow morning. I teach
Clearly,
9
this
to
is what I
noon.
will be doing, and then I'm going to tweet it.
Good.
Good, you
I'm
should.
excited.
Everybody can look forward to the answer.
Look forward to my tweet.
Because I too, I've got a 9 o'clock in the morning, so I got to get going.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much
Yep.
for joining us.
Yeah, Steve, thanks for
Yay.
joining us for
Yeah.
Metroid. This
So
was
nice
really
to have
fun.
you.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You're always
We'll see
welcome
everybody
back.
next week. I don't think we're going to keep doing Metroid Dread. I might bring it back again to show that Kraid Quick Kill is a fun stinger sometime. But I don't feel the need to complete it on the stream. We've heard a lot of the musical material at this point. And maybe when I have one of those half-hour times, we can load a completed file and kind of show you the rest.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do super spoilers on that game until everybody who wants to play it has had a chance to play it. It's too new to really dig into. Speaking of which, Steve, the moment you actually finish the thing, I want to chat.
Okay.
Okay. In any case, we'll see everybody next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, folks.